Qool Hand Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special episode because we're on West Coast time today. The person that I got in the building is not originally from the West Coast, but it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast right now. And to be honest with you, this guest deserves whatever time zone he's in. I had an interview with a young woman named Jasmine, and she told me about the person who we're about to talk to today. She said he got him into the DJ field, and this brother hit me up through the DMs. I said, "Oh, this is the legend. This is the legend I just heard about." He said, "I want to be on the show." I said, "You got it." He sent me the mix. He sent me a 3-hour long DJ mix, and I just started listening to it today. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that this mix, I didn't even finish the whole thing. I was working out to the mix. I was listening to it. I ain't trying to give too much information, but I was in the shower listening to it. Give me another bomb. And I don't do this for every guest that we have. But I told him that I wanted to give him a proper introduction. And some of the stuff that he had on this mix on SoundCloud, I highly, highly, highly recommend that everybody check this out. Give me one more bomb before we introduce our guest today. This is the Qool Hand Podcast. All right. So as you see today, our guest today kind of had me out of my body because I'm done talking. Guest, please introduce yourself.
Manny, DJ Eazsy.
DJ Eazsy, man. Welcome to the Qool Hand Podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Man, thank you for having me. For real.
Oh, absolutely. Like when you followed me and told me like, hey, my friend Jasmine was on your show, woo woo woo. I'm like, oh man, you're a legend. You were already a legend. She like kind of set the stage for your for your legendary status.
Yeah, she told me she was gonna shout me out, but I didn't know she was gonna do all that. She made it seem like I knew what I was doing. I appreciate it.
It seems like you know what you're doing. So we haven't been following each other that long. This is a real introduction. So I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. You can give me a lot of answers. Sure. Please elaborate when you can. So DJ Eazsy, Manny in the building. So I already gave you your introduction and the SoundCloud link that you sent me. Dude, it was going crazy. Like you were,
I appreciate
like
that.
Some of these transitions, they were on point. I told them before we started recording that I even had to like rewind it, then show my wife. I'm like, he played my song "What's Next" by Drake. It went from like the mix was like Hotline Bling, then it went into What's Next. You did. Oh, yeah. You did a lot. It was 3 hours long. You might have forgot about it, but let's talk about it, man. So where are you at currently?
I'm in Fairfield, California, about an hour from San Francisco.
Okay, Fairfield, Cali, but you're not originally from Cali. What are your roots?
So I'm originally from Queens, New York. I was born right near New Mexico Street, but I went to PS 118, PS 36. Like I was out there near St. Albans.
Okay, shout out to Queens. I don't know too much about New York, so all the PS and all that. 50 Cent is from Queens. I know that much.
Yeah, so I was kind of near there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite rappers. So 50, I'm gonna associate you with G Unit. So I guess that's the connection that you have with Jasmine, as she's currently located in the Connecticut, New York area.
So that is even a further connection because then I lived like kind of upstate. Also, like after I was about like 14, we moved upstate, and then I met Jasmine through a mutual friend. Like we just went to her house one day, and then we connected on music, and it just kind of built from there.
Bet. That's what's up. So let's talk about your upbringing a little bit more, man. What was life like growing up in Queens?
Like it was cool. Like I liked it. Like my parents did a very good job of like, I always had access to my cousins. I always had access to even my neighborhood. Like my father was real friendly with the neighbors. So like we used to play together and all that stuff. And then just like growing up, I got a lot of good memories connected to it. So it's like we was always at a park, we was always outside. There was always a party to go to. There was always, people that took us in congregation. Like it was always love. So I have very fond memories of being there. And then we was at my grandma's house, like growing up, we was there at least twice a week. So
that's what's up.
I have no complaints.
That's what's up. So what did you get yourself into as a youngin'? Like what were your interests? If you were outside a lot, I take it you might have been, athletic or playing a lot of sports or just playing in general.
Oh yeah, I was athletic. I wasn't good. Like I I had a lot of interest as a kid. So like I always there was a point where I wanted to be a skateboarder because the Tony Hawk games was dropping. There was a point where I was on a basketball team because my dad was like an assistant coach. There was a point where I wanted to play handball because I saw everybody playing handball. Like it kind of developed like that. It was like whatever my friends was doing, I got to do. But then the DJ and like the music thing was a big aspect of it because my folks were always into that. So I was burning CDs for my school teachers. I was always doing something in that realm. So it kind of just developed always.
Got you. So you was the music plug for the teachers.
Oh yeah, I was telling my wife that story earlier in the car. She's like, "You got to tell them that." Like, I remember they used to have me finish my work early, and she'd be like, "All right, like I got a list of songs. I need you to go." So I'll be in there, not very legally, getting music and putting it on their on their CDs from the school computer.
Wow, from the school computer. Oh,
yeah.
All right. I wish them computers the best. I'm sure they're, dead and gone now.
They probably, that was LimeWire days, so they probably fried.
yeah, they're fried. But okay, that's what's up. So speaking of music, what music were you listening to growing up?
I feel like my parents was always well rounded. So like we always listened to the radio, but then I listened to a lot of Stevie Wonder, a lot of Treble Funk, a lot of Parliament. Like I got a lot of the earlier stuff because that's what their parents played. So there was always something being played in the car. There was a little stint where we were listening to educational songs, and I wasn't a fan of that. But for the most part, like it was like Common, it was Jill Scott. It was like I feel like what every kid our age kind of went through.
Yeah. So okay, so Common, Jill Scott, you had the oldies as well. Shout out to Stevie. Growing up in New York, growing up in one of the 5 boroughs, because I'm sure like your parents probably wasn't endorsing 50 and endorsing who else, Mano, who else was going on, French Montana, and
that's the crazy thing though. Like I feel like my parents did a really good job of the balance. So like I said, we was always listening to the radio, so they would always tell us like, hey, like let's not do these things, but like you can enjoy the music, and we invite you to create your own taste or whatever. Like they were real good about that. So they didn't endorse it, but they let us listen to it and they let us enjoy whatever we kind of needed to, as long as it wasn't too crazy. Like
yeah. That's the thing. Finding somebody who ain't too crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, them grimy New York rappers. Talking about giving you $1.50.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it was some balance, but.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I got a lot of my connections with them is like early Tribe and stuff. Like I remember driving around Queen and my dad and my mom pointing like, "Yo, that's the laundromat they was on," or whatever. And then seeing the video later, like it was always, whether they might not say it themselves, but they was always like real big like music buffs to me. Like I was always so impressed by how much they knew about what we were listening to.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Having like parents who are into music and allow you to explore the different musicians and genres and all that. That's what's up. And you get a result. Y'all got to check out the SoundCloud DJ Eazsy. You're going to get a taste of everything that and I got a small taste within about an hour. So you guys got to check that out. I'm gonna keep pushing it because I believe in that. I believe I endorse DJ Eazsy MP3. I endorse it, man. You sold me on it. So how did you get into DJing? Was that always an interest, or what's the deal with that?
So I like that was another early thing. Like I remember being about 5, 6 years old, and like somehow, some way, we just had a controller land in our living room. So like I feel like my father was learning how to do it at the time. Um, my father was learning how to do it at the time, and then like I used to just be sneaking down and playing on it. Like it'll be 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. So I know I got in trouble a couple times, but eventually they was like, it might be in our best interest just to teach him how to use it properly, because I was there just
about to break the joint.
So he kind of took me in, and then he started doing gigs and stuff, and then I was just with him. And then like him and my mom ended up separating, and like whenever I was with him, like visiting, that is what he was getting into. So he, got a controller, got some speakers, and he was doing gigs. So I was just there next to him all the time. And I guess they realized I had a real interest in it because from there, everything he learned, I was learning right next to him.
Interesting. So, man, a lot of people that I interview, they're not like, I don't want to say born into it, but you really had this at a young age. So
yeah.
Okay. So no wonder you're good. No wonder you know what you're doing. You're real humble too. I'm thinking you picked this up maybe a few years ago. You've been doing this. Okay, and that's a good thing. That's a good trait. I heard you're married, so she married a humble and modest guy.
That is who keeps me humble for sure.
There you go. That's why we have wives, man. They will keep us humble. So, okay. So 4 or 5, and then, as you're getting older, you're traveling around with your pops.
Exactly. So then by like 12, so then I'm going to show him this podcast. I'm going to show him the interview, but he started putting me through like a boot camp. Like he was not, like once I told him that, and I really appreciate it because it's helped me now, like as an adult. But once I told him that I wanted to be serious about it, once I told him that I wanted to learn, I'm going to leave you. You're doing a gig by yourself. Or you got to get up there and you got to play for 2 hours or whatever. Like that kind of stuff. He's like, make sure you lay out them chords, right? Like that kind of stuff he was very serious about. So then by the time I was like 12, 13, I was just doing my own weddings and stuff. And it was just...
What? Wait, now hold on. When you say doing your own weddings, like straight up by yourself, or your dad was like in the background somewhere?
No, like I think he came to the first one. And then after that, it was me and an assistant. Like I had hired somebody. Marcus West, actually, I'm gonna say his name because I'm gonna send it to him too, because he was just with me for a bunch of weddings. Like, and it was me and him.
At 13, 12, 13?
Yeah, 12, 13.
This dude is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So, what was it Marcus or DeMarcus?
His name is DeMarcus, but we call him Marcus.
All right, shout out to DeMarcus, Marcus, however you want to be called. Shout out to you too, man. So what was the boot camp like? What was your dad putting you through?
Like I said, like it was, because like I was learning it as a kid. So obviously, like I'm over there being silly. Like he was real serious about me learning how to do the mixes, about me like listening to the music and not just like looking at the laptop when I'm playing and stuff like that. Like he made it a point for me to learn other equipment, learn how the equipment worked, learn about the chords, and just know how to set it up without him. So like by the time I did get older, I didn't necessarily need him, but he let me borrow his stuff, and like I also was able to start getting my own stuff and start getting my own bag for the future.
Yeah. So, all right, that's pretty interesting. So let's take a little bit of time on that too, because if your dad got you ready, he got you set, and by 12, 13, you're doing your own events, you might have been getting money for a long time, haven't you?
I mean, like, yes and no. Like for a long time, and that was a personal thing. Like my friends, my parents, they really helped me with that, because for a long time I was undervaluing myself. So it's like I was doing a huge wedding, 8 speakers, whatever, for like $400. Like I was just so my first couple of gigs was like that. Like I I wanted to play so bad. Like I just wanted to be involved in people's parties. Like so I was please take me. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, and then my parents would drop me off and it'd be so funny. They'd be like, man, you're not charging enough for this. And my stepdad too, he's like, you gotta up your prices. So he helped me with my pricing. My mom was real serious about me getting my paperwork right and all that. So they really got at me because at first I was not making any money. It wasn't until I was about really 16, 17 that I was like, all right, like I gotta tap in and start charging people the right prices.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, man, because like I'm not really tapped into the DJ field. It wasn't until I was getting married that I realized a DJ costs like serious bread. So I just know some of these prices that were thrown at, my wife and I, and I'm like, dang, man, this is
That's
this
like
is
I think
rough.
that's probably why you laughed so hard when I said $400 because
and many people may not know that DJs cost bread. So and we'll get into the pricing a little bit later because sometimes it's like you may not understand, but at the end of the day, this is a craft.
It's a lot of work.
And not only just the action of DJing or the art of DJing, like you said, 8 speakers, this, that, and the third. But we're gonna get into that later because
too. Like even that 3-hour mix you're talking about, like I could dive into it, but pretty much I mixed every song out in a minute. So it was like I had to gather 160 songs or whatever. So like, it's a lot of thought.
that is work.
It's a lot of thought.
So by 16, you start charging prices that reflect your value.
Yeah, exactly.
So when and just to clarify, because I don't want to skip over some things that I probably will miss. I'll look back on this and say, oh, I should have asked this, that, and the third. What type of DJ are you? Because there's some people who work from this machine, some people who do vinyl and a laptop, some people who just do. So please let me know what you are skilled in.
I believe I'm pretty proficient at all of it. Like I like to call myself an open format DJ. I mean, of course, like growing up, it was mostly hip hop and R&B that I was like mixing. But at this point, I like to consider myself
open format.
So vinyl, I could do vinyl controllers. Kind of. I got a good idea on most of it.
Okay. And when you were learning too, were you? Now I don't know how old you are. I'm just taking a ballpark from 26 to 30.
Oh, you hit it right on 26.
Oh, 26. Okay. In that range, I'm like, all right. So I don't know what the climate was like. So we
were just getting into CDs. So like the controller that we learned on was CDJs. It was those two with the CD slots in them, and then I think he also had vinyl at some point, and then controllers were just being built, like the ones that we see usually now. They were just being built, so we was able to secure one of those. So like I said early, I kind of got all three.
Gotcha. I'm gonna do a quick Google search. I have another screen here. So you said it's called CDJs.
CDJs, yeah. So that's the one. Like, if you think of Zach Fox, that's what he be on.
CDJ. All right. Oh snap! Yeah, this ain't cheap either. This is not cheap. This is like an advanced machine. Interesting. Okay, so you were starting off on the CDJs, and this is as I'm looking at this is like a complex machine. Like, what is the learning curve like?
It sucks.
Talk about that, because although you've been doing it for so long, this ain't easy. I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and this ain't no joke.
Yeah, so it's like I said, on top of being young, like he was he was not playing with me as far as learning it. So like he did a good measure in like explaining it to me in a way that I understood it. So he's like, all right, like we got to get through the tempos right, and we got to make sure that we're in range. We got to make sure that we're in the right key. So It took me a little bit, obviously, because I was real young, like I was like 6'5". It took me a couple years to fully get it, to fully understand it. But once you got it, it kind of translates to everything. So like I started with the CDJs, and then it was easier to go to vinyl or go to, because I learned the foundation the proper way, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Now with the CDJ thing, and I'm gonna sound real ignorant. I'm gonna, keep saying that, but when it comes to like when you think of DJ, you think of like scratching and everything
Yeah.
like that. Was that something that you kind of learned off the bat, or you kind of grew into?
So scratching is actually something I started learning, like fully learning, like a year and a half ago. And I know I think you liked one of the videos recently, and that's where Alan, like, it's just something I wanted to learn. But for the most part, for all these years, I just been doing, like a little to get people hyped. But it was always something I was interested in because, growing up listening to the radio, they used to go crazy. So, but no, scratching wasn't a big thing that I was learning. It was more focusing on mixing and things of that sort.
Gotcha.
So.
Got you. Okay. And how common is it for DJs nowadays to know how to scratch?
Oh, in my opinion, it's pretty uncommon. Like,
okay,
the ones that truly do it and that truly like learn it and enjoy it, it's been rare. Which is a part of the reason that I wanted to learn. I feel like it's a good. Alan, I'm gonna speak on Alan for a little bit. Alan does a good job of like talking about the history and stuff about behind it too, which I had a good idea before, but he's really taught me about the area, and it gives you a good foundation to do your job. Like, I feel like since learning scratching, I became like a better DJ just by understanding another side of it,
Yeah. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So you learn these things, the learning curve. If someone was to get into it today, what advice would you give them?
Just trust yourself. Like, I really feel like DJing is one of those things that everybody can do to an extent, but it's like it's gonna be more specific to you, right? So like I DJ a certain way based on how I relate myself to music. So just trust your music taste, trust what you're trying to do, and give yourself a lot of patience because it's rough at first. Like,
I would imagine
you're not gonna be what you see on YouTube or TikTok, or anything like that immediately. But once you get past the curve of learning how to mix, it opens up the possibility to do anything, really.
Got you. I still have the CDJ thing pulled up on my screen.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like,
I can see you looking at it.
Yeah, I'm like, like, I can't even. I gotta take this off my screen because it's just distracting me. I was trying to pull up a picture of it, but I don't know how to use this platform like on the screen for everybody to see. So maybe I could put a picture up in post production.
Yeah.
But okay. So I want to ask this: are you like a full-time DJ, or did you go off and okay? So you work
Yeah, I work a secondary job. Honestly, yeah, it's kind of leaning that I might be able to do that, which that'll be great. But nah, I'm an HVAC tech, dude. HVAC installer.
That's what's up. Shout out to all my people in the HVAC field. I had another brother who has a clothing line, and he said, he's been doing it for a very long time, and he's in a position, being in that field. Not only is the compensation good where he works in this field, but he kind of like put in his work where he doesn't have to be like getting down and dirty. Now he does most of his work from a laptop at this point.
Exactly.
So don't sleep.
I'm not quite there yet, but in a couple years, like I it's challenging enough. Like I like that it challenges my brain every day.
Got you. Yeah. I'll say the same thing that I told him. I think I told him, just to stress the importance of the HVAC field. Now I work in pharmacy. And back when I was like working in like oncology, like clean rooms where we would like mix IVs and stuff.
Yeah,
they have to be a certain pressure and this and that. And there's if anything went wrong and you cannot make chemotherapy IVs, in a room that has the wrong pressure. If anything went wrong, the first people who will be called is HVAC. So yeah, y'all are important. Y'all are important. HVAC folks make the world go round in a sense. Yeah, but all right. So you do
very highly of us considering what we do, but I appreciate that.
You got to keep it real, man. Honestly, you got to keep it real. So okay. So I just wanted to check, just based off of you doing this since you were so young. I'm not sure, if you went off and got another type of job or went to school or anything. So you in the future, you may be able to go full time.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is kind of a personal question.
Okay.
Since you've been doing it so long, but how long, like what point did you realize I'm good, I'm nice?
Man, I wish my wife was in, because it wasn't like, I never considered myself to be that good. I never considered myself to be skilled. I never considered it to be something that like I could even do full time or anything like that. But once I started dating my wife, she was the one that was like, hey, like, why aren't you taking it seriously? Like, why aren't you doing more gigs? Why aren't you doing any of that stuff? And that's my girl. So I was like, yeah, like I guess I'll do another wedding this year or whatever. And it was her that really put that battery in my back to be like, yeah, actually, I might know a little bit of something. About this.
So it took. So even then, hold on. Shout out to the wifey, but
oh yeah, no, it was really her.
Like, so you, man, like that's it's interesting to think. Like, I'm trying to think. I'm thinking back to when I played like the tenor saxophone as a kid. Now I can't pick up a saxophone and be good at it today, and I quit when I was young as well. But even when I was younger and doing it, I knew I was decent. I wasn't going around bragging, but like I knew compared to the other kids, like I have a little bit more, I get what I'm doing a little bit better than the other guys. So did you ever have that thought, like, yo, like I'm pretty good?
I never considered what I was learning to be like something that like a skill. Like I was just like, yo, like this is something that my dad taught me. It's something I get to do every once in a while. And I was just thankful to be able to do it. Like I was thankful that people even wanted to give me some money at their pocket. People wanted me there for free. Like it was always a gift to be able to play around people. So no, I never had that thought. And then I didn't even qualify it as like being impressive that, I started at a young age until later on. Until I told my wife, and she was like, what? Like, you've been doing this since when? And I'm explaining chords and stuff to her. She's like, Manny, you know what you're talking about. Like, just go go do that for other people. Like, just tell them. And so.
Oh, man, this dude is humble. We got to give it up. This is the most humble dude I done had on the podcast, man.
She came around the corner and gave me a thumbs up. So she laughed.
This is, man. This is a humble guest, man, and it's good to hear, man. But yeah, you know what you're doing, man. We got to give you your props. So okay, so you start doing some more gigs, as your wife encouraged you to do, but you can't be a good DJ for no reason. You can probably, know everything about DJing, but your song selection is trash. So let's talk about some of that and the preparation that you mentioned as well. Something else that goes into, making a quality DJ set. So how did you kind of learn song selection and things like that?
Oh man, it was it's so like the people that like hire you, their song suggestions go a long way. Like I've never deleted a song suggestion since I've started till now. I have every song suggestion that people have suggested throughout the years, and that has helped me to kind of guesstimate, like give a good guess of what people want to hear when I get into a certain gig. So like I ask a lot of questions on the front end. I ask the kind of vibe that people are going for. I ask who's going to be there, what kind of music is their preference, and that gives me a long way. And then I also usually ask for a playlist of about 10 songs, and then I'm able to build off the playlist. And a lot of it is trial and error too. I don't hit it on the nose every time.
Yeah.
But eventually I usually get there to understanding the crowd and being connected to them a little bit more. Because that's really what it is. Like I want the feeling of dancing. I want the feeling of happiness to connect to whoever's out there. So we're usually able to get it somehow, some way.
Yeah. Gotcha. Do you think you ever bombed a set before?
Absolutely. Well, like, I don't know, like bombing's relative, right? Like there's never been a time where like I've looked out and people have been sitting on the floor. But there's been times that like on that first wedding that I mentioned as a kid, like I completely forgot to download their first dance. Like yeah. So a lot of those, like it's just little stories like that where like I'm terrified, right? Like they don't know that I just drove to Guitar Center and back because I forgot a bag of chords. Like they don't. So in my head, in my heart, that's me bombing because I wasn't prepared enough. But yeah, there's been plenty of stories like that. But yeah, it just makes you stronger. It makes you stronger as an individual because you gotta learn how to have humility. You gotta learn how to call your people. You gotta know. But also, it's made me stronger as a DJ for sure. Like,
got you. I would imagine it's kind of like comedy. Like every comedian bombs, whether so it's every DJ is gonna.
Yeah, this stories of us driving out of state, like cars breaking down, like anything you could think of.
Yeah.
We got robbed at gunpoint a couple times. Like
what?
They tried to take everything. Yeah, like anything you could think of that could happen within all those years has happened. At least we got drugs in the DJ cases. They done took it. They done took everything out. Like,
wow. All right, we're gonna get back to the song selection for a second. We're just gonna ride this out for a second. These crazy stories. The being robbed at gunpoint, because that's scary. That's scary. What state were you in, or what city?
We were in Philly. Doing no Philly slander. I loved it out there.
Yeah. Shout out to Philly, but that's an unforgiving.
So they came up to the car. So then like it was me and another friend at the time. I don't remember exactly who, but the friend is obviously gonna tell me later. But we were on our way there, on our way to the venue. We stopped at a red light. Eight guys in masks. How about the car? Boom. What y'all doing? Where y'all going? Pull over. So we pull over to the side, and I'm like terrified because I'm like, if they take all this stuff, like I'm done. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But long story short, like we was able to talk them out of it. I was like, hey, listen. I was like, hey, listen. I'm a DJ. I was like, if I don't make it to this wedding, these people are never gonna forgive me. And they were like, you know what? Like I just had my wedding a couple years ago. And he was like, you know what, guys, let him go. Sure enough.
What?
And then they was behind us the whole way to the venue. I don't know if they didn't believe us or what, but we got like a little gang escort to the wedding.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank y'all. It was like, nobody gonna bother y'all for the rest of the night.
That's crazy. That is like a crazy story. You talked the savages out of robbing you.
I was like, dude, like this. I was like, please do not take this stuff. I was like, I'll give you whatever you want. I was like, I'll give you the car if you leave me with the equipment. And he was like, nah, bro. He's like, you good. He's like, don't be nervous.
You know what? Shout out to Philly, man. That's
what I'm saying. It's all love in Philly. And ever since then, I've always wanted to go back because I like it out there.
Yeah. I was going to say that is an unforgiving city, man. So, wow. Okay. Man, all right. That is crazy. Crazy. I didn't think it was going to be like this type of interview.
My fault.
No. This is amazing. Well, not that they put the heat to your face, but whew, okay. All right. So beat selection or song selection. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Good.
So song selection.
It's a lot on the crowd. So like that 3 hour mix you heard there. It was cool because when I first came here, I have really good friends because I was able to stay here for 7 months, like right out of college. Mm-hmm. I mean, right out of high school. So like I met, Harrison and the Gorays and all of them. And like they kind of put me on game. So then when we moved here, they took us to a house party. And I was just at the house party listening to everything that they was playing, like music off an iPod into a Bluetooth speaker. So I was just there listening the whole time. Like, all right, yeah, this is what's gonna get them. Like, this is they really like this song or whatever. So then by the time I got invited to that kava bar, I wanted to invite all those people out. Like, yeah, come listen to a mix. And I was able to build that list so extensively just based on what that they played at that house party. And that's kind of how that one fell together.
So your preference, this was a Manny Small set. Whatever you like, what do you like to spin or play or mix?
I like to play pretty much what you hear. Like, I like to play R&B, I like to play hip hop, and I like to play a lot of stuff that like reminds you of being younger, reminds you of your childhood, right? So like, I will play newer stuff, but I like to weave in like, Mariah Carey or Drew Hill or like Tevin Campbell, like stuff that your parents played that you like to sing. So like, Can We Talk? I think I played Love at least 40 times this year. Like, it's just like it is it's a lot of that. Like, I like to feel that older wave of like stuff that I remember listening to in the car growing up on the radio or whatever.
Yeah. Once again, we got to plug this in, the 3-hour set. We're going to link this in the description. You have to check it out. I guarantee it. You're going to enjoy it. If you're anything like me, and if you have, some good music taste, you'll check it out. So, okay. And one thing that Jasmine and I discussed, and I gave an experience of one of my friends, was the transitions. How hard was it for you to like learn transitions? Because I'm gonna reference the SoundCloud link again, but like doing things like when the beat changes and switching to another song, or putting elements of one song into another, and like I know that has to be difficult. So how do you kind of master the art of transitioning?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I cheat a little bit because I got synesthesia, so it like makes it a little easy to make the connections. But I don't feel like transition is something that you could ever truly master. Like, it's preference and it's creative, and it really gets fun. Like, and once it gets fun, it becomes easier to do. So like, I like to do word transitions, I like to do sound transitions, and as long as it feels authentic, and as long as it feels fun and it doesn't feel forced, I just try to do it. But I really don't think I mastered it. Like, some of those mixes that you heard in that 3-hour set, I had to practice. Like, I had to stay at home and make sure I got it down before I even presented it to you guys. So it's a lot of that. It's like, all right, I want to do this, and just dedicating yourself to learning how to do that in that way. And the song selection and where you play the songs is real important in that too, because you got to set yourself up to get to that point where you could even switch between those two songs and it sounds right.
Yeah. You mentioned synesthesia, so you see colors when you listen to music?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you discover that?
I thought it was something that everybody kind of had, and then I was a little kid, like on YouTube, like listening to a Pharrell documentary or something like that, and then he started describing it, and then I think I was already going to a neurologist, so I remember just talking to a neurologist about it. He was like, yeah, like that's not something that a lot of people got. Right. So then we kind of dived into it, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you got synesthesia, and there's like no real treatment for it. So it's just a cool thing. Like, it definitely has helped me enjoy music more, and be able to dive in it more. Like, I can't stop listening to music.
Interesting. See, I think you're only the second person I've interviewed who has that. I'm just gonna call it a phenomenon, because it's not like maybe it's a what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, I'm drawing a blank, but we're imperfect.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, something that comes from our imperfection, but it's just something that not a lot of people have. Like some people have a photographic memory. But
Yeah.
the one guy I interviewed a long, long time ago, he had it as well. So because it's like rare, what do you see if you're listening to a certain song? I pick a
I mean,
song.
it varies. So like I was actually just talking to my wife about it also. It varies. Like my synesthesia kind of depends on my mood also. So like if I'm not in a great mood, the song colors could change. Like, or if I'm overwhelmed, if there's too much noise, that the whole thing could just be jumbled. Like I won't even be able to see one color because it's just too much going on. So it's kind of hard to pin down what a certain sound would look like because it really depends on how I feel. But if I'm generally in a regular mood, one of my favorite songs to listen to is "As" by Stevie Wonder. Like that's just like it just produces the best colors. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
blues, a lot of greens, a lot of reds. Like Stevie Wonder's music, it always has done wonders for it. Like he's like one of my favorite artists. So
Yeah.
it's been and that's why because his music just produces a lot of color. And I think it's ironic because he's blind.
Yeah.
So it's always been cool.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. I feel like there could be like a whole deep dive into this because, my wife is like an artist. She does a whole bunch of artistic things, and
Mm.
she could probably answer this better than I can kind of describe it, because I know that certain colors are associated with, certain feelings like
Exactly.
yeah, like red and greens and blues and, those primary colors. So
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like there is a correlation between when you say your mood? Let's say if you're in a negative mood and you may listen to something, are things more like darker colors or red, like alarming
Yeah, like
colors?
it changes with like tints and like hues. Like
Wow.
you do podcasting like cameras, so it's like contrast. Like
Yeah.
it'll intensify based on how intensive a feeling I'm feeling, if that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, these are things that I would have never ever thought about. Even you saying like hues and tints.
Yeah,
My mind is just thinking like these basic colors, but in reality it's way more complex
yeah.
as you were explaining. That's
And
pretty
everybody
cool.
experiences a difference. Like I've talked to people and they're like, oh yeah, no, it's the same color all the time, or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's cool because it really changes based on the person.
Wow. All right, thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
you, telling your stories and opening up. So,
yeah.
um so just moving forward, what do you plan to do in the future? How far would you like to take your
Honestly, I'm not really sure. Like it's been
Mhm.
lately since we moved here, like to California, it's been more so of like just we do what feels natural, right? So like
Mhm.
we've been able to do weddings, we've been able to do the house parties, we've been able to, do these events and it'd be beautiful. But also we've been able to throw our own party, right? And that was like since a kid, you could ask anybody. I was always like, man, I'm gonna throw my own party one day. Like I'm gonna throw my party and it's gonna be this and it's gonna be that. So like being able to like get people together and like create a product that we were proud of twice was like amazing. And it, I'm running out of things that I really like want to hit.
Mhm.
So like even the scratching, like that was another thing. I was like, oh man, yeah, I gotta learn that. And then
Yeah.
I've been learning it, and I'm like, dang, like, all right, where can we go?
Yeah.
So I'm really just having fun, and it's whatever feels authentic and whatever feels right is what I've
Yeah.
been trying to do and trying to emulate.
Got you. Now on the business side of things,
Yes.
uh because you've been doing this for a while, getting your paperwork straight and everything, and that's a whole nother topic. But building a reputation,
Yeah.
building like a clientele, as you like kind of put yourself out there more, how do you as a DJ, if anybody is watching, how do you get yourself out there? How do you get some clientele and people who are willing to pay you for your services?
Um. To be honest, I can't fully tell you how to like get that first gig. I think a lot of it is putting yourself out there, and a lot of it's making it known, right? So like in the beginning, I did a lot of stuff for free, or it was like, you know, brother so and so or your friend comes up, hey, you know, we want to dance right now. Like go to your crib and get your stuff. A lot of it is putting yourself out there. A lot of it is also being honest. Like, hey, you know, I'm still new. I'm gonna charge you less, or stuff like that. Like a lot of this business is word of mouth. I've been personally having to work on like advertising myself more and putting my content more out there. But a lot of it is word of mouth. So like a good reputation goes very far. So if you start your first gigs and you're honest, you're on time, you're doing the best that you can, people notice and they refer you, and it just builds off of that. Like, oh yeah, you know, this other DJ's too expensive. Well, he's new and he's cheaper, and you know he's gonna do a good job. Yeah. And it just really goes from there. So that the word of mouth has been a really big part of my business and helping me out.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, one thing that we kind of mentioned beforehand, and this goes along with, you know, getting yourself out there, getting yourself gigs, is the price point. What, I don't want to ask your price, but what is the average DJ who will do events, who will do like a wedding or a party? What is the range for a good and established DJ with a fine reputation? What is that range when it comes to price?
So like, I don't know. I kind of think a lot in per hour, but I know that DJs start at base prices too. So I've seen some. I'm still a little cheaper than them sometimes, but like I've seen some start at like $800, and then based on add-ons go up. And like there's hourly DJs that do 400. Like it really depends on what you got and what you bring to the table. So
I see.
If you got the best lights, if you got the backdrops, if you got the smoke for the venue and stuff for weddings, like it really depends on what you're bringing, and that's how you're able to fluctuate. That's how you're able to go real high or real low. And then the hardest part is determining how much of that hourly price is your skill, right? So like, because you have a certain years of experience, you want to be paid for that time that you put in, all those gigs you messed up and stuff like that. So yeah, it really ranges. But I've met a DJ that charges $1,000 an hour. Like it's and it always blows me away because like you said, like I've been doing it for a couple of years, so it's always crazy. I'm like, dang, like I'm not charging enough, or I'm charging too little, or there's been DJs I've talked to and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I've done it for $40 an hour, and I feel like I'm charging too much.
Yeah,
it's really hard. It's really hard. And then you know you run into the element of people too, like they're like, oh yeah, you too expensive or this and the third. But you got to truly create a price and just believe in yourself, and then you raise it, of course, as the years go on. Like I got new lights and stuff, so I could bump it, or I've learned how to scratch better, so I could bump it up, or I've learned, you know, turntables better, whatever. That makes a difference.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I want to talk about, because I'll never forget when I interviewed a photographer, and he was just like, you know, some people complain about prices, and this is a good photographer. We actually got pictures done by him as well. Shout out to Lance Thomas Photography down there in Atlanta. So
I think I've seen his stuff too.
Yeah, he's great. I met him through the podcast, and then I eventually met him in real life, and then we recently hired him to do. Yeah, he's real good. We recently hired him to do some
really
pictures.
Good photographer go a long way, dude.
Yes. Shout out to Lance, man, and his wife Faith. So when I interviewed Lance the first time, he just was like, you know, the lens costs money, the camera's body costs money, the time, things like that. So, and these are some of the things that go into the price that you're paying. You're getting high quality work, you're getting time, you're getting a lot of effort. So what goes into your price?
All of that, right? So it's like, you know, I gotta go get the speakers tuned. I have to, like, I was complaining so bad. I've had this one controller for like 10 years, and I had to go get a new one. And I was, but like the programs update, and you gotta have a controller that's compatible with the programs. You know, I have a million chords, but the chords get bad over time. And sometimes it's due to improper care. Sometimes it's just due to the fact that you've had it for 20 years, 30 years or whatever, or I bought it secondhand and I forgot and I'm trying to plug it in, it's not working. So like all that goes into it too. And a part of my price is prep. Like if I got a gig like 3 months beforehand, I for those 3 months I'm constantly thinking about it. Like, all right, I gotta download the music for it. I gotta make sure I'm on top of the client, like for the down payment, or I gotta make sure I know what the venue looks like so that when I place the speakers, it looks good. It doesn't look like it's out of the way. Like, oh, where am I gonna put the uplights? Like, it's like a lot of thought, a lot of stuff behind it, and then yeah, like I'm taking time out of my day, right? So like even I'm at work, listening to their suggestions and trying to build connections to those songs. Like, all right, man, I want to do some transitions too and stuff like that. And then the phone calls, like we do a lot of initial phone calls with clients and stuff. And then if they got questions throughout the week, I encourage them to call me. There's been clients that's called me 20 times. There's been people who've called me twice, but I have to take those calls, like no matter what. So it's a lot of backhand work because the day sometimes is 3 hours, 6 hours, but everything before that could be days of just getting your mind right, getting ready. I also got to make sure that I'm in a mood when I get to the gig, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you said something that I never even thought of and that I didn't even realize was a thing. You said getting the speakers tuned.
Yeah.
I never.
I got some newer speakers, but I also got some older ones. And it's like my dad put me on game to that years ago. We was taking it to the Jamaicans. No disrespect.
Shout out to the Jamaicans.
And they like, they'll change the boards out and stuff like that. So like,
interesting.
That's a big deal because you don't want, your speakers to have a lot of fuzz. You don't want to blow them. Like you want to make sure that they're properly maintained. It's like a car. If I'm using it all the time, I want to make sure that it's properly maintained so that I could keep using it. Like I have a pair of QSCs that I've had for at least 20 years. And they literally are just still here because I've been able to just make sure that I'm on top of their maintenance and stuff like that.
That's what's up. That's kind of like, invaluable knowledge, knowing things like that. Shout out to Pops, man. Shout out to Mr. Smalls, whatever your name is.
Yeah, that works.
So these are some of the things that people have to take into consideration when they are looking for a DJ, and maybe you won't be as surprised as I was when I and I'm gonna keep it real. Real. The DJ who did our wedding happened to be a friend of both myself and my wife.
And he charged you a discounted rate too, I bet.
He did more than that. He did it for free.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's a real dude.
Oh my goodness. Dude. Shout out to DJ Not Your Average Joe. We're about to go see him next month.
That's the DJ that did it?
Yeah.
I know of him.
We're about to that's
follow him on Instagram. He's a dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my man. We about to go see him next month. Him and his wife.
Yo. Yep.
Yeah, Josiah. He did our wedding for the free 6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I've heard of him. He's well known. Very nice.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. So shout out to that man. I always owe him one because I ain't have the money. I did not have the money at the time. He did it for free. Oh my gosh! All right.
Yeah, dude. Not your average Joe. I'm rocking with it.
So we can wrap it up. Just on like a positive note. So, what's your favorite part of DJ?
I've always been a little socially weird, so my favorite part has always been the connection with people. Like being able to do it young, it's enabled me to meet a lot of people that I wouldn't have met if I wasn't doing that. Like this world is small. It's even smaller in the congregations and stuff. But DJing has allowed me to meet, oh my gosh, tons of people, and then the people that DJ too. It's just been a pleasure to be in a field that allows me to, because then you meet photographers also. You meet like a bunch of people who are passionate about their crafts. And then I've always found that even Jasmine, like I was able to connect with her because we just both like music. Like it just makes it easy that way.
Yeah, that's what's up. And when people go and see you perform or work, what can somebody expect from a DJ Eazsy set?
They can expect some passion. Like at the very least, I'm giving you guys my all, right? So I like to believe that there's gonna be at least a couple songs that you're gonna like, that you're gonna sing to. Or there's gonna be a couple songs that you're gonna want to dance to, or even a head nod. I'll take a foot tap. Like that that aspect of like there's gonna be some music that I play that you like is real important to me, and that's what I want people to want from anytime they go to an event.
That's what's up. You would probably get like a head nod or foot tap out of me because I can't dance. So,
yeah, like that's all I want. That's all I want.
Got you. And one more thing that I almost forgot, almost slipped my mind. So how did you originally come up with your name?
Oh, it's my initials. So my full name is Emmanuel Alexander Smalls.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. So I just threw a Y in there. And at the time I threw it because my grandma's name was Betty. So I was like, oh, it'd be cool if like I just threw that last letter. So yeah, that's really it. And then it kind of stood the test of time because, at one point I wanted to change my name, but I was like, this one's simple enough that I don't sound like a rapper or, anything crazy. Anything crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that name worked. That's pretty cool. That name worked out like perfectly.
Yeah, it's just my name. Yeah. So
wow. Okay. And then your Instagram name, it's Eazsy MP3 or .mp3. Is that like your DJ name, like DJ Eazsy MP3 or DJ
Yeah,
Eazsy?
So there's a lot of DJ Eazsys. Which is
okay.
something that I've also learned. Because I was like, I want to keep my name, but I just did a Google search and I found 20 DJ Eazsys. And I was like, dang, I want to stand out, but I don't want to take too much from the name. So I just threw an MP3 on there. And that's been working out because I don't think there's any other easy MP3s. It's just
that was probably smart. I wasn't even thinking about that, like how many DJ Eazsys are out there. Yeah. And probably like half of them don't even, DJ anymore. They just have their own Facebook
exactly.
page.
So it was like I was looking for a link name, I was looking for a domain, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was super hard. And I was trying to get the name like trademarked and stuff, impossible. So
dude, oh my gosh, trademarking is a pain in the butt. Yeah. Yeah. So we won't even get into that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'll just ask you this: did you like get an attorney trying to trademark your name? Because I didn't. And I'm having issues.
Yeah, so there's like websites that'll help you out, and that's kind of how I did it.
Okay.
I could even send you the link. I don't remember the name of what I did.
I ain't bothering with it.
It was a guy in between who really helped me because he was like, "Hey, by the way, you're not gonna get exactly what you want. So just be prepared to change your name 8 times."
Wow.
So,
got you.
Yeah.
Well, all right, DJ Eazsy. MP3 in the building. Do you have a domain where people can find you?
No, I had to put it down. But the Instagram is a lot of it gets a lot of love, and that's usually what I send people to. There's a lot of my work is on there.
Okay, so we can find you. We're also going to put the link to your Instagram in the description here. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, please go check it out. Check out the SoundCloud link. That'll be in the description on both platforms. Thank you for being on the show, man.
Dude, thank you for having me. I love your podcast. Like I said, I started with Jasmine's video, and then I've just been going down. Like, I like the way that you formulate your questions. I like the way that you bring it out of people. You bring personality out, and I really appreciate what you do.
Oh, sure.
Record. I'm a big fan of you also.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I don't plan on being on the West Coast, but I want to kick it with you. I ain't gonna lie. I want to hang out now.
Come down. We'll throw a party, whatever. Come to the Bay Area for sure.
Oh, man. Shout out to the Bay. Big love. This is the Qool Hand Podcast. Something you got to deal with, and we'll see you on the next episode. Easy. Ironically, I'd say easy after. Easy. Yeah.
For
All
sure.
right.